We haven't seen Rusty Trombone in a long time, and with good reason. And this is a double shot because I guess Joe Rogan had Eric Weinstein on his show. Can I show you, like, okay, never mind the fact that this is a Rusty Trombone channel. Rusty Trombone, he's got his transcript down here, you know, and all this and stuff that was happening. Yeah, here's the transcript. But down here, he sells stuff. This is done with debt relief strategies. And he's on Locals. And then there's a link tree, whatever. So the weirder part, I mean, it's pretty fucking weird. But him selling a particular, like these, like gold and all this shit, just like Jimmy Dore does, just like all these fuckers. They're all in the same network. And again, a bunch of these companies don't really have any business. They don't do any business. They just put ads on all these same fucking people and don't look for a return. It's hinky as shit. Wouldn't you expect, if you're spending your money on a network of individuals and putting your ads across their stuff and having them do live reads and all this stuff, you would want to see a return on it at some point. You'd be able to look at their promo code and go, yeah, we're getting some bump back from that stuff. But they never do. Weird. Anyways, this is Eric Weinstein, who I like. He's one of like the intellectual dork web guys who they all seem to think of as a prognosticator. Never quite sure why, except he just looks like everything I've ever heard from him is just like borderline paranoia from somebody who's scientifically educated. So maybe that's why they buy it. Anyways, this is Joe Rogan notices something about Trump's latest presidency that you need to hear. The last presidency that you need to hear. His only presidency, you mean?
And we don't know how to look at all of the seemingly democratic things.
Hold on, back up.
That was interference with democracy, and we don't know how to look at all of the seemingly democratic things that have happened since.
Did you get that? That happened that was undemocratic, and there's been seemingly democratic things that have happened since. I suppose the passing of the infrastructure bill and the CHIPS Act, and support for Ukraine, and then Trump killing the border bill, those kind of seemingly democratic things.
How much of what has happened since are the people who took control with that assassination? How much is them continuing to maintain control?
Wait, sorry, who was assassinated?
With a certain amount of democracy, and how much was that an aberration that then returned us to our normal course?
Brett Weinstein.
All right, I don't know. First of all, maybe some context before before I started reading that. I wrote myself a note. I think I know what he's talking about. Were you just trying to make him look like a dumbass? Did you just cut off the top of it so nobody would know what the fuck you're even referencing?
And
what assassination?
Rogan believes that there is a cheat margin when it comes to elections. Surely such a thing can be true. Surely elections are fair and well regulated.
Okay, this would be the low-res sarcasm.
Surely they are free and fair and reliable. Surely we have nothing to fear.
Surely a person accused of 4 rapes wouldn't have the fucking gall to sit in his multi-million-dollar house in front of a fucking stack of wood like he chopped it himself, wearing hippie clothes, running his dumbass little semi-coat around his stand-up, which is not funny. Certainly somebody like that wouldn't dare even try to tell other people how to live their life unless they had the ego of someone like BTK.
2024, surely there will be a peaceful passage of power. Surely what awaits us
transfer of power
on the other side of November 5th is a utopia, a new freedom.
Is he high or drunk? Or is this just what stupid looks like when you're British?
Peace in every direction. Let's have a look at Brett Weinstein and Rogan.
Jesus Christ. Even his own people were like, I don't care. It looks like a shitty edit, but let's just... Enough.
He's talking about the potential cheat margin.
For me, it was the Kennedy assassination. One good book on the Kennedy assassination, I was like, God damn it, they killed the fucking president. It freaked
Really? They have film of it.
me out forever. That was like, I literally
Wait a minute. You weren't freaked out in your life until you realized he'd been killed before you were born?
had a giant shift in how I viewed the world after reading that book. Because before that, I was never a questioner of whatever was in the news or whatever the narrative was that we were being told about anything.
Well, but
Nothing. You never questioned anything until you read a book about the Kennedy assassination in 1993.
I mean, I have exactly the same reaction to that story, and I've been down that rabbit hole. And I think you're just ultimately left with a question. Something happened in 1963.
I agree. Okay, I think that we can agree on. Something happened. Yeah.
That's before either of us were born, right?
Right?
That thing was either an anomaly that robbed the nation of a president, and the nation continued to be a democratic republic in the aftermath of it, or that was interference with democracy, and we don't know how to look at all of the seemingly democratic things that have happened since.
I see. So after the Kennedy assassination, the stepping down of Johnson after he served one term as president, and then the Nixon presidency, followed by Gerald Ford pardoning him, and then finishing out a term of his own, and then Jimmy Carter becoming president, and then Ronald Reagan getting elected for 2 terms, followed by George Bush only getting 1 term, and then Bill Clinton for 2 terms, and then 2 terms of George W. Bush, and then Barack Obama for 2 terms, and then Trump for 1 term, and Biden for 1 term, and then Harris for 2 terms. Everything since the Kennedy assassination has been the machinations of the Illuminati, or as I think Roseanne calls it, the circle. Which is, I gotta personally, they sound like a bunch of jerks to me. Fuck you, dude.
How much of what has happened since are the people who took control with that assassination? How much is them continuing to maintain control?
I don't know. You mean did they like the solar panels on top of the White House or not? Did they help Reagan make a deal with the Iranians for the hostages so that he could get in, and then guarantee George H.W. Bush in, or and then just go, fuck it, let's have Clinton for 2 rounds since we're controlling everything
with a certain amount of democracy? And how much was that an aberration that then returned us to our normal course? And
yeah, every piece of legislation, they take everybody in the entire Congress and Senate down into a smoke-filled room a mile beneath the Earth's crust and show them pictures from the Zapruder film and go, look, I think you know what this means for the Farm Bill. You hear me, people?
It's a good point. A certain amount of democracy.
a certain amount. There's clearly a certain amount.
Yeah.
Which part? Was Jimmy Carter getting elected, or was George H.W. Bush, the former head of the CIA, who was head of the CIA during the Kennedy assassination, being vice president to Ronald Reagan, a clear intended puppet? Was that the part that was not democratic? And then they were like, fuck this. We don't know quite what we're doing. So let's just take our hands off the wheel. Look, ma, no hands. And Clinton gets in. And then they're like, oh, wait, we need to start our 7-country attack on the Middle East. And we only got 2 of them. Fuck it. Let the black guy be in there. Good Lord.
Well, which is one of the reasons why they're so terrified of Trump. There's a certain amount of the stealing they can do. If
What? No. The dude who loses the popular vote but wins the electoral college is not the dude who slipped by the voice of the fucking people. That isn't the one act of democracy. The one act of democracy isn't the party that never wins the popular vote. And if they were afraid of Donald Trump and they wanted to take him out and there was a big they, them, there later, they would have just released a bunch of shit when he was, because they knew he was playing with the idea in the fucking 90s.
Let's imagine if it is dirty and you really can manipulate elections. How much can you manipulate by? Can you manipulate it by 30%? You know, because we don't know. And as long
30%. If they can manipulate it by 30%, then whoever's in office is always who they want. If they can manipulate it by 30%, what, are they going to just not do it sometimes? Fuck off.
As long as they can have you believing in the polls, this is what's really important. Polls. Kamala Harris is up by 3%. Oh, she's up. She's winning. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
Right. And
you're not talking to me.
What narrative is it in which Kamala has done something that might have caused a surge in her popularity? Like,
her debate against Trump where he said they're eating the dogs, and she presented a plan specifically for home ownership and child care, and presented her judgment to the world, and they went, oh, she seems the sensible person here. Eric, you fucking dork.
I didn't see it.
Well, some magic.
But to your point about
some magic, what are you, Lanny Walnuts now, Joe?
How much can they cheat? I call that factor, which none of us can put a number on. Maybe they can.
Right.
I call it.
Well, of course they can. They're the ones cheating, Eric. You know, they can do anything. You know, the they. By the way, I just wanted to reassure you and Joe that you don't seem like paranoid assholes who can't handle your weed at all. I don't want you to think for a second that the rest of us are going, what they, you fucking dickhead? None of us are even concerned with you explaining who this magical fucking they is, who puts people in office that are across the political spectrum, that gets shit done and then fails at other times, that somehow passes infrastructure because they want to on a whim, when for years they just decided not to because they didn't, because who the fuck? The they, probably the same they that runs everything in the fucking world, but can't shoot Trump even with a clear shot. All I'm asking, Eric, is why do you think they suck?
The cheat factor, right? The cheat margin. And one of the things that I'm trying to convince people of is that it's not hopeless because they can cheat, but it means that you have to succeed at a level.
Oh, fuck you. You mean too big to rig, you dumbass? You know who started that shit? Fucking Stacey Abrams.
Level that exceeds their capacity to erase it.
Right, so that's what.
Okay. Nothing you could do could beat a margin of 30 fucking percent.
We're talking about. So we're talking about, like, maybe they can cheat by 10%.
Right. And what we know, and I think actually we owe Trump a huge debt of gratitude for proving something that I couldn't have told you if it was true before he won the presidency, which is
apparently the Illuminati did want him to run so that COVID could kill more Americans than anybody else in their plandemic.
Is there still enough democracy left in the system for something to upend the plan? Right? Because he was clearly off narrative.
Right.
And he did become president. So,
sorry. Was Bill Clinton on narrative post 8 years of Reagan and 4 years of George H.W. Bush? Was the narrative after George W. Bush, let the black guy clean it up, Eric? Is that the narrative that was going on there? And also, again, he lost the popular vote. He was put in there by the unevenness of the Electoral College.
So he did something for us that I don't know anybody else who could have done it.
Yeah, it would take a...
Well, yeah, that's because you were upset the black guy won. See, I felt that way when Obama got elected because he was our first black president and he stayed in for 8 years. And he actually accomplished a bunch of shit. Righted the economy, cleaned up after the Bush administration, started the drawdown in Iraq and Afghanistan, did everything he could to kind of, in a measured way, manage this great country for 8 fucking years. Created a situation where 24 million people got insurance, for example. You know, real shit for real human beings, not just a tax cut for billionaires. Fuck off, Eric.
Person with that kind of personality that could withstand that kind of abuse.
Abuse? What do you mean withstand that kind of abuse? He wasn't even running when he was saying Obama wasn't even born here.
Because he didn't freak out
Thank
at
you,
all
Tom.
when they went after him. He's like,
Right.
just...
What? Of course he freaked out. He's a whiny little bitch. He always freaks out. Motherfucker, that's why you said he just lost the debate. The other clip that's going around of Joe Rogan is that Trump clearly lost because all she had to do was flick him and he just spiraled out of control.
brushed it off like it was nothing.
That's, I suppose, that's what
As I suppose, something other than obviously something is going on here. It's an astute point by my dear friend Joe Rogan. Oh, what was I saying?
I like about Trump. He disrupted it. That is it, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a disruptor. You know what I mean? It's like, I've often thought, you know, when a person is in the hospital and they're in open heart surgery and you've got all these corporate lights on the patient and you've got all these special interest groups like nurses working on them and you've got this doctor, you know, playing by the rules, you know, and what you really need in there is a sheepdog covered in shit to, you know, to be a bit of a disruptor, especially when something serious is going on. That's what we need, a disruption.
That's the thing that brings the excitement. Even if there are things you disagree with, even if there are things you don't...
Why the fuck do I want excitement in governance? For real. Why do I need my government to be exciting? I am totally fine with it being fucking boring.
see eye to eye on, even if there are things you think, I'm not sure about that. Is that enough of a change?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't like the whole grab him by a pussy kind of thing, you know. I don't like that he's an adjudicated rapist, but he certainly stirs things up, you know, between the sexes, you know, in a way that, you know, when women are just starting to finally make some headway, here he comes to go, no, you don't, Sally, swank.
Is that the right kind of world? Is that the world we want to inherit? What you have to acknowledge is that person hacked it. He disrupted it. They couldn't
For no good reason.
stop him. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And that's
Again, you sound excited.
pretty inspiring. Don't you think that's more likely the reason he's so vehemently demonized rather than any sort of inherent...
No. No, because he's a fraud and a pussy-grabbing rapist. That's why. He's fucking gross. He's a liar. Because I don't know if you know this, but in the last 7 years, it's been more than 2 weeks on a bunch of shit. I would rather have a president who knows that 7 years is longer than 2 weeks. You remember the big, beautiful healthcare plan, and we're going to fix it so that everybody has, you know, we're going to, people with pre-existing conditions are going to be really well taken care of, and it's going to be cheaper and better and cleaner and shinier and covered in gold paint. Remember that horse shit? Never happened. You know why? Because he doesn't give a fuck. Because he was too busy golfing. Because the U.S. taxpayer paid 400 years worth of presidential salary paying for the fucking staff and the Secret Service to follow this dickhead around to his own properties while we prop them up.
Inherent malevolence within him. I mean, isn't it impossible to imagine that the technological feudalism that lies at the end of the...
God damn, dude. Maybe some uppers are in order. I don't know. If you're going to use yourself as a chemical yo-yo, don't live stream on the down.
Globalist project, total civilian management, where you're on a program for medication, you're on a program for finance, you're on a program for your every move, that you can be social credit scored into a corner at a moment's notice, and your automatic driverless car would drop you off at the nearest human depository. If you...
Hold on. Are you questioning Elon Musk's motives? Are you saying that driverless cars are part of a globalist agenda to drive you into a fucking pond? Like, I don't know, Elaine Chao's sister on Mitch McConnell's property in Texas, who died in her Tesla because it backed up into the fucking pond they had on the property and she drowned, couldn't get out? Are you saying that there might be something... As a matter of fact, if I may, hold on. There is a... Yeah, there you go. Oh, is this not? So, am I to assume that the paragon of free speech, Elon Musk, one of your buddies who loves Donald Trump, loves him. It's such a good one. Yeah? He's a guy who believes in free speech, freedom of movement, freedom of association. Chechen warlord accuses Elon Musk of remotely disabling his Cybertruck. Remember this guy? Elon Musk gave this guy a Cybertruck and he mounted a gun on it. Ramzan Kadyrov has accused Tesla CEO Elon Musk of remotely disabling his Cybertruck, which has been sent to the front line of Russia's war in Ukraine. He claimed Thursday that the vehicle, which had been outfitted with a machine gun, was performing well in combat, had been shut down, adding Friday that he had sent 2 additional Tesla Cybertrucks to the front line. Chechen warlord known for his loyalty to Putin, blah, blah, blah. Musk, however, firmly denied sending it. Are you seriously so arded that I should donate his Cybertruck to a Russian general? He wrote on X at the time. And then apparently he flipped the switch that made the guy's truck not work anymore. But enjoy your Tesla, everyone. It sounds completely safe. And I'm sure when your voting record is leaked online, that Elon Musk won't send out an algorithm that makes your car speed up into a wall or stop in the middle of high-speed traffic. I'm certain.
Uttered one word out of line with the New World Order's ever-flowing, ongoing...
The New World Order. Hey, asshole, real quick, before I shut you down because you're boring me. What's the Old World Order? Anybody know? Anybody know what the Old World Order is? If we're going to have a New World Order, there must have been some kind of Old World Order, yes? Yes, what? Yes? Well, a bit of that would be... Let's see what the Old World Order... Well, it was warring monarchies, theocracies, and autocrats, yes? Yes? Good old warlords and kings and queens and theocracies, religiously run countries, all fighting for supremacy over increasingly fewer resources. That was the Old World Order. What would a New World Order be then in that case? It would be an alliance of democracies. Sounds terrible to me. Sounds like an awful idea. A New World Order? Let's go back to the Old World Order. When we had chattel slavery and the Inquisition. That's right. And whoever had the magic sword could run the fucking joint. Great idea. Yeah, well, take your New World Order and shove it up your keister. We like our Old World Order just like that. I'll tell you what. Yeah. That's what the New World Order is. I like I love the Ministry song myself, and I'm a big fan of conspiracy theory rabbit holes. But let's be honest. Can we at least, when you're saying New World Order, can we at least, a New World Order would be the opposite of the Old World Order. So what was that? Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah. Mm-hmm.